band. And you kind of knew who was going to make it. I mean, Motley Crue, they were doing something a little bit different, you know. The Rat Guys were really cool, they were polished, you know. Dokken, you know, great songs, great band, great guitar player. You know, there was a lot of stuff happening at the time, you know. Just we'd all be hanging out Sunset Boulevard, you know. I was talking to this guy and he goes, yeah, man, you missed me. We got the whiskey one night talking to me. I'm going, yeah. I remember one night, Kendall was at the Starwood, and Dave Roth was there. This was after Van Halen first got signed, right? He's drunk. Kendall's just drunk, right? Yeah. Dave said, he goes, hey, man, fucking love you, Dave, man, you're great. Dave's all, it's fucking raining in here, man. Kendall's spitting all over, right? So the guy's, Dave's bodyguard grabs Kendall by the throat and goes, Dave don't feel like talking right now. Mark's all, okay. That was classic, man. That was classic.
What are some of your other memories of the Starwood? I know Motley Crue, Quiet Riot broke out of there.
Oh yeah, the Starwood was great, man. I mean, I never played the Starwood with Great White. I mean, I played there with other bands that I'd been in, and prior to that, I was like 16 years old. It's a progressive rock band. These guys were like 20, 21. I was like 16. Just, you know, freaking out with the Starwood, playing in Hollywood. Never even heard of Hollywood before, really. I mean, you did, but you know what I'm saying? It was so far away from what I was doing at that time, you know. But that was my first memories of that place. That was a great venue. Great band. I remember watching YNT, they did, but I don't think they ever never succeeded as much as I think their talent should have allowed them to, you know.
That's a great point. If you were an A&R and you were given a dream budget, and your job was to come up with what you consider the all-star hard rock Hollywood quintet with you on vocals, who would your backing band be? Money's no object.
All right, now, just for the sake of argument, I'm going to say that people in Great White aren't allowed to be in the band because that'd be too easy.
Well, you'd be A&R, it'd be conflict of interest. Yeah.
Okay, so, God, my best, maybe George Lynch on guitar, maybe. Who would I put on bass? Probably Sean McNabb, great bass player, underrated, great bass player, or Billy Sheehan. He's a little bit busy, but he's a great bass player. Drummers, God. So many great drummers. Myron Grumbacher, amazing drummer. And just throw some other guitar player. Some guy played keyboards too, you know, didn't have to just put him in the corner somewhere behind the curtain. That'd be a stop band.
That'd be great. I'm already thinking of flying photos. You mentioned people, Myron flying, still photos.
Yeah, Myron was great.
Billy flying is still.
My first solo record, him and Tim Bogart. Just amazing. I mean, somebody told me, you should check out Myron. You know, okay. So I called Myron up, you know. And I knew the band. I said, hit me with the band. Shut up. I mean, and this guy comes in the studio, and he starts throwing down. I'm going, oh my God, you're amazing. He's like, you know, I had to kind of stay in the confines of Pat Benatar. I was just like, holy crap, this guy's good. Frightening drummer, you know. And actually, Vinny Caliuto played my last solo.
Like working with Tim Bogart.
Great guy. He's very studious, kind of like the glasses and the mustache and the white hair. You never think, you know, you'd think he was like a insurance salesman or something, you know what I mean, or like a professor. You know, so really, really down to earth cat, man, telling stories about, you know, hanging out with Hendrix and stuff. It's just like, oh my God, you know. We're just like, okay, stop the rehearsal, just tell us more stories. You know? It's kind of like when I was doing Tony Levin played my last solo, you know. He's telling me his John Lennon stories. I'm like, okay, just be quiet, just talk about John Lennon. You know, it was just amazing. Now, what an era to come up in those days, the 60s, God, 60s and 70s. I always felt I was born like 10 years too late, you know. But the 80s were fun.
We've got, I think, 7 to 8 interviews, and as I'm looking at the lineup, it reads like an all-star, like a who's who from the book. And except for maybe Quiet Riot, I think every band is still together in some form or fashion or another.
Right.
What's kept you and Mark together for 20 years? Or 25 years, I'm sorry.
Yeah, you know, actually more than that. Mark, I've been playing since 78, so it's actually longer than that. You know, a love for the music we made together. I mean, I could say something, you know, try to answer wrong. I'm not going to do that. I mean, honestly, the songs we wrote together, you know, I've always said that a band, you know, you're closer than brothers and it's more than a marriage. I mean, because you go through so much stuff together. You spend most of your time together. I mean, hell, I spent more time with my band during my last 10-year marriage than I did with my wife. You know, we're on the road 9, 10, 11 months out of the year. You know, and that was okay. you know. There's just stuff you share. I mean, the struggling, the starving, you know, okay, we're gonna make it, man. Everybody's like, it was all for one, one for all. I mean, it was really a band of brothers, man. Really, I mean, because you're all trying for the same goal. You know, when you actually succeed at that, there's a bond there that I think you never get with anyone else. You know, it keeps you strong. You remember those good times, and I think that kind of holds you together. I mean, not to mention the fact that our personalities are so different that there's really not really much of a conflict. You know, in Great White, there was only one type A personality, that was me. Everybody else is kind of like type B personality, kind of more laid back, and you know, I wasn't one that's always out of control. You know, so it made it easier that way because you have to have one captain of the ship. You know, of course, everybody can sit there and say what course they want to head on, but you know, you need one guy to drive the boat. If you got 5 guys fighting for the steering wheel, you're going to drive in circles. You know, that's why so many bands that I see around, you know, self-imploded because you just couldn't get along. You know, there was so much friction with the egos. You know, and Great White never had that problem really. So our thing was drugs. You know, that's what screwed us up at one point. You know, I mean, the constant, you know, being sober and then having guys that weren't being sober, and then when I fell off the wagon in 2000, after being sober for almost 8 years, it was just like huge. I mean, you know, for Kendall, it was just like, oh my God, because he got sober, because I got sober, he's still sober, while I'm just trashing myself, you know, I'm telling everybody on the bus, look, I don't care what you say, I'm going through a bad time right now after my second divorce, I'm just going to be as flashy as I can all the time, and you guys just have to suck it up. So that was bad for him, but for the other guys, it's like a green light. Cool, Jackson's party time, woo! So it was like it was bad, man. It was really, really bad. It was, I can't believe we got to that tour. As a matter of fact, John Kalodner at one point, after that, actually put me into rehab. He said, look, you need to go in, you're sick. So I said, okay. So I went for 90 days. That was a long trip. And yeah, I got out, and I wasn't ready to stop then. So I still, you know, played around for a while. And you know, up until last year, a year ago today, actually, I put myself in Betty Ford and got back on the path because, you know, it was fun in the 80s. I was 20 years old. You know, it was all fun. But now it's a bad addiction. You know, it's not fun anymore. You know, when you get to be, you know, 45 years old, have a family, and you know, people that rely on you. It's not like partying when you're 20 in the 80s. I mean, when you know, it was just you and your buddies, and it made sense. You know, now it's like different world. So, I mean, that's women and drugs, man. That's the kiss of death to most rock bands. You know, bands break up over women. Your girlfriend said, your wife said I was this or that. You know, I see them explode all the time.
When you guys get inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, what's it going to say on your plaque?
Plaque of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. If that ever happens, probably not available for photo. I don't know. Or about fucking time.